Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. and welcome to Two Back or Not to Back, which is never on Wednesdays. Like, I think there was that one time where I did a Monday and a Wednesday video. I was actually debating doing that this week again, splitting up Kickstarter and GameFound, but then on Monday I just didn't have time to film it, and so, well, on Sunday I didn't have time to film it, and so instead you get it all on Wednesday. We have a Wednesday Two Back or Not to Back, which I can't push off because if I pushed it off, 2 or 3 of these campaigns, I think like 4 of these campaigns would already be closed. Let me actually see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them would be closed easily. Why does it scroll down the page? Go up. 4 would be closed. 4 of these campaigns would be done with if I waited till Monday, till next Monday, that is. Either way, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. Welcome back to the Two Back or Not to Back schedule. This will hopefully be Mondays going forward. My next travel trip is going to be, I want to say early September, and things are spaced out once again. So we do have, hopefully, our regular Two Back or Not to Back will be coming every single Monday going forward, at least when there are campaigns to cover. I say that because now that I'm covering everything midweek, this next Monday, I don't know if there will be enough things to highlight. We shall see. We'll dive into that. That's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and jump into it with links and timestamps to everything down below. Let's start off with our usual, it's been so long I can't even do this, our Cult of the Now. Cult of the Now, that's what I do. The Cult of the Now. Crowdfunding's full of a lot of games that are very, very tempting, and sometimes they're great games, sometimes they're amazing games, sometimes they show up a year and a half after they told you, sometimes they don't show up at all, sometimes they ask you for more money, which is why we do Cult of the Now, where you can go ahead and get Meltwater from Capstone Games. I have not played this, it's one of their newer games. I'm actually more interested in their other newer game. I didn't get a chance to get it at Gen Con, but still interested in that one. It's a 2-player game, neither here nor there. Meltwater is over on Game Nerds if you want to check this one out. This is our Cult of the Now pick of the week. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into crowdfunding. Although I will start by just a general reminder of the state of crowdfunding these days. Right now when it comes to crowdfunding, it's a little all over the place. And what I mean by that is you can back a crowdfunding project that is at a certain price point, and then before you know it, because of tariffs, you have an increased charge. Tariffs might go up, they might go down. Charges can be all over the place if a creator is charging for tariffs. So make sure when you back something that you're okay with the fact that that is currently the reality of crowdfunding. When you back something, you are a little bit victim to how tariffs are going to affect things, unless the creator specifically told you they will not adjust for tariffs, in which case I would say 95% of the times that will be true, because there's always that 5% where they're like, I know I said that, but like, it's 300% tariffs, what am I supposed to do? So that's kind of one of the reasons not to back in crowdfunding. The flip side of that, let me go ahead and just mute my computer over here. The flip side of that is that on the other hand, you might go ahead and not back something waiting for retail, only to have the retail price be higher than the crowdfunding price. This just happened to me at Gen Con, where a game I had passed up on, oh my gosh, Regicide Legacy when I was on crowdfunding. I was like, I'll get it at retail, what's the big deal? It's $30 more expensive now than it was then, because tariffs have changed things. Tariffs can make the price of a game go up after crowdfunding. So if you back it on crowdfunding, your prices might be higher than you're expecting. If you skip crowdfunding, you might find that the retail price is higher due to tariffs in the state of the world then. Kind of whichever way you go, it's a bit of a risk. In general, buying games is one of those things, and I'll probably be doing this for a bit of a general ongoing warning as I do these videos, but buying games on crowdfunding, make sure you really want the game, because kind of either direction, there's unknown, there's uncertainty, and if that's how it is for you buying a single game, imagine what it must be like for the companies trying to run a business with this level of unknown. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into our crowdfunding campaigns, starting off with Compania. Compania is from Level 99 Games. This one is a tableau building, hidden worker placement kind of game. I mean, that's really what it is. 1,700 backers, $125,000 raised, 26 hours to go. The gameplay of this one does sound very compelling to me. I'm very intrigued by the gameplay. I like hidden worker placement in general, hidden placement, hidden anything I tend to enjoy. And then combine that with the tableau building. You're constantly getting these cards and trying to build up your engine stronger and stronger as you go. I had a chance to see this briefly at UKGE. Didn't play it, just got a general overview. But overall, the art doesn't pull me in. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are pulled in by this art. It has like the anime style, which I don't mind. I actually like it. I think it's engaging, but it's like so beige for an anime game. Like, they took like the beiges of the beige, which is like a standard trope around Euro games, and then they're like, well, we'll make it anime and just pop in just enough color to remind you it's not totally beige. It's beige. I know this kind of looks rainbow, but it's rainbow while being beige. They managed to make a rainbow beige game, unless it's just me. Unless it's not beige and I think it's beige. But this board is rainbow beige. That is a Rainbow beige is a new color on the spectrum over here. But yeah, I'm intrigued by the gameplay, not pulled in by the visuals. That said, as well, as far as the price point on it, it's going to be $50 for an MSRP of $60. This is where we end for the regular edition. Deluxe edition is $90 on an MSRP of $120. That's a better ratio. Again, remember that MSRPs are usually not going to be what you actually are paying. You usually pay less than that when it's at retail. See all the previous disclaimers I did at the beginning of the video. So overall, interested in this one, not interested enough to rush this one in crowdfunding. I'll happily wait and try this one out down the road. I don't feel... Oh, we got a cat jumping around. Okay. Anyways, yeah, so that's where we are as far as Compania. I am intrigued, I am interested, and I also just don't know, and then you have to add shipping on top of that. So again, the price, like a base price of $50 plus shipping of $12, that brings you to $62 on MSRP of $60, versus at retail, that same thing might be like $42. So, and again, deluxe is a different story if you want the deluxe, but I'm not. The deluxe actually adds colored meeples. So there is more color to the game if you do go the deluxe route, but that is Compania over here. So interested, happy to wait on it. Risk G.I. Joe missions, special missions. 1,081 backers, $75,000 raised, 29 hours to go. So again, this is one of those that would have been ending very, very shortly over here. Risk G.I. Joe was originally going to be a retail product, then it was going to be a pre-order product, then they made it a Kickstarter product, all because of tariffs and the state of things. So again, that's where companies have to pivot and adapt and adjust their plans. Coming to you for Renegade Games, it's a new version of Risk that I couldn't at a glance figure out exactly how this one plays. What's the different hook for it? I've talked about it on the channel, but Risk 2210 was one of those games I loved before I got into this world of board gaming. Okay. He's just going at it. Risk 2210 was one of those games that I loved before I got heavily into the world of board gaming, and Risk G.I. Joe, because of that, I'm interested in variants and offshoots of Risk. I assume that I'm not the huge target audience for this one when I went to the campaign page. I don't really care about the G.I. Joe universe. I am just intrigued what variations there are on Risk. But nothing was available at a glance. You can watch an hour-long how to play video, or of course read the rulebook. I skimmed through the rulebook briefly. But it's Risk. It's Risk G.I. Joe. They have a bunch of miniatures that look kind of cool. They have the G.I. Joe theme. They have some extras that you do get if you back the game on crowdfunding. So if you're interested in Risk G.I. Joe, this is for you. It's not for me. Cities Reforged. This is one of those. So a few campaigns over here I do cover that I know I'm not getting, but I guess in general when I cover these right now, I'm covering things that I'm tentatively interested in, even if sometimes I know I'm not getting them, which is very much the case for very often terrain and tables, things like that. This is Cities Reforged. It's a newest. It's a Tudor Village, hand-painted modular terrain from Dwarven Forge. They're introducing vines to the game, so they have now vines that go onto the various houses. Dwarven Forge is absolutely fantastic. If you've seen them anywhere, if you've seen, like, they just had a booth at Gen Con, their stuff looks absolutely insane, but it's very much a premium product for a premium collector. Like, the stuff can be very expensive very quickly. Like, over here, $230 for the starter set over here. That's two buildings for $230. It's a lot of money, so it's absolutely beautiful. It's very much for the kind of person who likes to enjoy their hobby, and money is not a factor that gets in the way. That's the target audience here, because if money is a factor that gets in the way, you shouldn't be looking at this campaign. We have Lands of Amazement, a Scott Alm Simply solo game. 1,800 backers, $47,000 raised. I was very interested in this one. I got a prototype copy. I won't be covering it. I played it a few times. I played it like 3 times to make sure I was doing this right. And this is the tricky part. So while I'm not covering it, the tricky part is, even when I don't cover a game, if I cover it on crowdfunding, I don't want to like pretend I didn't play it. I played this game, but I said, hey, I don't think my coverage will do any favors, because there's kind of 2 stages to this game, and I really wanted to like this game, and I wonder if I'm playing it wrong. I need to go watch someone else's preview video, but I played it 3 times, and I was like, you know what, I'll watch Foster the Meeple after this. The basic idea is you have these cards over here, and you're trying to connect these cards to create sets that match what you're trying to do on the objective. So if you see on the top left of a card, there's an objective. The bottom right and the bottom left, there's areas, and you try to merge them. You draw these cards, you merge them together to create the shape in the plan. That's going to allow you to start earning points and earning these cards, and then building cards into your better deck that's going to evolve. So you're kind of building a bigger and bigger deck until you get to the end of it, where you're actually going to be trying to build your mega park. And that's kind of the compelling part. The mega park is the compelling puzzle where you have to kind of hit the shape on the bottom of the goal card you went with, and then really build a massive shape that fits that. There's all these rules as far as how to score points, where you lose points, and how to, you know, measure your score. But the basic idea of it is you're lining up different shapes to make different patterns while having certain color goals in play. The first half of the game, or the first 3/4 of the game, where you're actually just going through the cards, I didn't find that interesting. I felt that I either got a card that let me make the shape, or I didn't. There wasn't a lot of room for creativity or interesting play. It kind of felt like you just did whatever the cards let you do. And then the Mega Park, that's where I felt creative as I tried to actually build things out. But that's like the last thing you do in the entire game. Now, again, played it multiple times to make sure I wasn't just getting bad cards in different ways, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it was, at the end of the day, it the end game wasn't enough to pull me in on its own, and the rest of it felt too procedural victim to the cars. Now, there are expansion stuff that could make some mix of the fun, but I was very interested in this one. I like button shy games in general. I was very intrigued by Lands of Amazement. I think the color, the vibrancy, the type of gameplay all pulled me in. Sadly, this one didn't land for me as much, so not for me. Then we have Vine. Vine, a game of high-producing green beans. We did sponsored content to this one, 983 backers, $62,000 raised. This is a tile laying game where you draw a tile and then also give your opponent a tile too. So you're kind of doing both as you play through this, picking and passing, hoping to hurt your opponent because you don't just pass, you pass and place. Meanwhile, you're trying to build out these stalks and sprout some beans and trying to earn as many points through your sprouted beans through a variety of things that you actually do as you go through it. But overall, it's placing down vines. It's a tile placement game with a vine and bean theme. There's also an expansion though. There's expansion, there's deluxe content, there's a bunch of things over here. The expansion looks very vibrant because you got this, you go from the green and white to having, where is the expansion? You go from green and white to having pumpkins. You now throw orange into the mix. So you have pumpkin swap where they grow wide, not tall. You also have, you add something else. You have beetles. You have the beetles as well that are going to be added to the game. So you have a bunch of things added. I didn't play through those. I played through the base game. Base game's fairly straightforward. It's a fun tile laying game. It didn't wow me, but it definitely is charming and accessible. Like, they're doing well. Happy for them. The base game is going to run you to $19 for the standard edition of the game, and then the beetles and pumpkins add $39. We don't add the bumps it up to $39. Then the deluxe edition adds a lot of things. So you get a lot of different deluxe pledges over here with anything from playmats to deluxe tokens. So you can go ahead and spend $129 or even $219 to get all the stuff from their previous game, Gnomes and Wizards from the previous game. That's just what we have for Vine. It's not a game for me. It's a little on the lighter side. The expansion might mix that up, but as it currently stands, not one that I need to get. Tekken. This is going to be a complicated one. Tekken from Go On Board, €517,000. I almost said dollars. 2,898 backers, 6 days left to go. Tekken is a lot of fun and also a game that I don't know how to recommend or where it'll be for me a year from now. I really enjoy Tekken. Tekken is basically a fighting game based on the Tekken universe. I don't care for the Tekken universe at all. I've played Street Fighter. Have I played Tekken? I don't think so. Maybe I have. I'm trying. There's one of those street games, fighting games that I've played that I'm blanking. I need to look up the fighting games because I played a lot of Mortal Kombat. I played Street Fighter, and I played one other, which maybe it was Tekken, but I don't think so. I don't think it was Tekken. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's playing the video games. But Tekken is basically based on Tekken. It's going to have a fighting combat game. It's a 2-player game with a bunch of other player modes. There's going to be a solo mode. There's also going to be tournament modes where you go head-to-head and pair off until you get to an eventual champion or whatnot. But the basic structure of the game is a 2-player fighting game where you pick your fighter, you have your basic deck, you have the cards that get added to the deck from the fighter. You can check out my review on the channel if you want that. And then you go head-to-head in a variety of different arenas with tons of other play modes thrown in. So there's a lot of ways to play the game, but it's primarily a 2-player, not really rock, paper, scissors. I wouldn't call it rock, paper, scissors, but definitely a degree of trying to anticipate strategically what your opponent is going to do and call them out. So it's definitely a mind game of rock, paper, scissors, but with a lot more things going on that gives you more information as to what's favorable, and then you have to kind of lean into knowing your opponent. Are they going to do what's favorable for them, or are they going to specifically not because of the fact that it's going to, subvert expectations and allow them to actually hit? Again, check out my review. I thought this was really, really well done for the type of genre it is. What I still don't know is I don't know if that's the kind of genre that will get a lot of play, because I find this genre is a little gimmicky. Meaning right now, if you ask me right now, do I want to play this game? Absolutely yes. I unfortunately had to bring my prototype. I was hoping to show my kids the prototype and teach them that one. But overall, this is one where teach them the prototype I had because I thought they'd really like it, and I think it's the miniatures are absolutely gorgeous. The gameplay is accessible. So lots of where is he? He's over there. Okay, lots of basic things that basically make this an accessible game that I wanted to table. To table again with the prototype. Unfortunately, I had to bring the prototype to Gen Con because they needed the prototype. So, do I have to? Do you want to come? Oh my gosh. So we have to. I had to bring the prototype to Gen Con. So unfortunately, I couldn't continue playing it for right now. And I do want to play it. I very much do want to play this game. Sorry, distractions are going to happen. But here we go. Here's the guy. This is Chaosphere, by the way. I'm sure you've seen him in videos. I'm sure you'll see him in videos again. I will try to not make him the focus of every video, but if he shows up during the video, it is what it is. Anyways, yeah, so Tekken overall is one that I really liked the prototype. I want to play it more. Where do you want to go? Sorry. Give me 1 minute, and if I need to, I'll turn the video off, but do you want to? Okay, I'll just do this. You like this. Okay. Anyways, So Tekken is one that I really like the prototype. I want to play it more. I don't know if it's one that's going to hold up long term to repeated plays or not. And it's also very expensive for something that is, you know, light casual fun. Now the good news is you could just go ahead and buy the starter boxes. So if we go down to the pledges over here, the rewards is basically the £80 or €80 set over here. There's a starter box for $29. I highly recommend that if you're not sure. The tricky part is I don't think the starter box is going to give you enough replayability, but I also think that the amount of content for this game is way too much replayability. Unless you're a Tekken fan, you don't need to go all in on this game. Now I want it all because the miniatures are cool, but the miniatures weren't, at least from the game, from the minis I played, from the characters I played, there wasn't enough variability from the characters for me to be confident that owning more characters is worth it for a game I won't play a lot. So I'm very mixed on Tekken. I think it's very cool. I really enjoyed it. I want to play it again. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know what level of it is worth it, except for the fact that I think my kids will like it, which gives me a lot of justification. Like, I bought all the unstable games, ridiculous stuff that I don't even play because my kids like it. So Tekken, I do want it all. I think it's irresponsible to want it all. I guess that's my verdict on Tekken. I want it all, I think it's irresponsible, and I have no confidence that it'll actually stick around. The solo mode helps. I do think that's fun. I can be teaching my kids the solo mode for this game with cool minis and a quick, fast-paced fighting style. I think that's a good way to introduce my kids to a solo mode. So I want it all, and we shall see. Moving on to Flip Voyage and Fliptown New Frontier. This is a standalone game and an expansion to the original Fliptown, designed by Stephen Amani, who has done, he's probably most famous for Sprawlopolis, but he's done a whole bunch of other games. 2,200 backers, $115,000 raised, 6 days to go. Flip Voyage is basically a new game in the Fliptown universe, so you kind of have the same poker cards, same deck of cards, you're playing them out as you try to explore and, like, Finding Nemo, whatever it is, and, like, not Finding Nemo, I can't believe I said Finding Nemo. Captain Nemo, and the Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Dear Lord. Anyways, yeah, it's a new game in that universe, and I haven't played this one myself, but from what I've seen, people generally seem to be very much enjoying it. They're like, if you like Fliptown, definitely check this one out. Similarly, if you like Fliptown, we have New Frontier, and New Frontier is going to give you new content for Fliptown. Again, this is a flip and write game. It's got a solo mode, it's got a competitive play, but overall, I think it's got competitive play. Like, yeah, that's definitely got, I haven't played this in a while. Fliptown New Frontier is definitely going to give you new things as well. Hey, buddy, where are you going? But it gives you new content for the game. You can mix and match. You can play some of the new stuff, or you can mix it for a much bigger, larger experience. But overall, this is more Fliptown. You can go all in, spending $95. You can get the base game for Flip Voyage for $29. Honestly, I probably recommend that. Like, that's where, like, a new content for a low price point, or because unless you're a fan of Fliptown, in which case go all in, do what you need to do. But if you're new to the series, maybe just start with the new one, because it's the cheapest price point overall to get. Oh, hey, buddy. Okay, sorry, he's falling down my lap, so I just need to straighten him out of here. Anyways, yeah, it's Fliptown. I like Fliptown a lot. I'm very intrigued by Flip Voyage. I do want to try it. Fliptown ultimately didn't stick around. No fault of the game. It's a good game. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I stand by that rating. It's just that there's so many flip and write games out there that I find myself having to choose the ones that are most likely to get tabled. That said, I'm still interested in Flip Voyage, and even the expansion, honestly. I liked it enough that I do want to try the expansion for the game, so we'll see. We'll see where it goes for me. That is Fliptown. Then we have Teburu Dungeons and Sword and Sorcery. €678,000, 1,900 backers, 8 days left to go. This is bringing you Sword and Sorcery, but to the Teburu universe, the Teburu console, allowing you to play Sword and Sorcery without having to read the rules, having the game manage things for you. We did sponsor content on the game. You can check that out. Let me just let him go to the table, because he likes jumping to the table. There we go. Yeah, we did sponsor content on the game, but only playing through the demo scenario, and that's where I'm conflicted, because my overall opinion of Sword and Sorcery I always thought was a great game that had way too much rules overhead, so I was very excited for the Teburu system. I do think that the level of the game controlling things for you did feel less invested than I would like to be in my dungeon crawlers. This didn't make me want to play Sword and Sorcery more. This made me want to play other dungeon crawlers I have more Massive Darkness, or more, I don't know, Cthulhu May Die, or Zombicide, whatever it is. They don't have to all be CMON games, but they are my favorite dungeon crawlers in general. But past that, so playing through the tutorial kind of was... It did a lot of things well. Like, you could jump straight into it and not have to read the rulebook, and that part's great. But it definitely had most things happening on the app, and a lot of things with a little less understanding on my part, because you could check in how things are, but then they just aren't going to bother doing so. Now, it did have some nice upsides, things like, contextual aspects where you step next to an altar and suddenly something happens, and that's something you can't have happen in a board game, at least not nearly as easily. So it had a lot of things going for it. I think where I am in this one is I do want to play more content for this game. I do want to play an actual actual scenario and not a like kind of on the rails guided scenario, which is what the tutorial felt more like. So I'm interested in playing it more. I'm not yet quite convinced that this is a game for me. It might be for you, especially if you like the Teburu system in general. Like, I tend to be more technologically averse. I think that, well, when it comes to board games, I have enjoyed what Teburu has been able to bring to the table, while not yet finding that game that's going to make me go, oh my gosh, I want this full app-enabled thing. Like, I want it all. Like, it's interesting. I'm intrigued and impressed by Teburu, and they've yet to hit me with one that I loved. I think, honestly, Bad Karma so far is probably my favorite from their games. This one made me want to play a dungeon crawler, and the vampire, the Vampire Chronicles or Uprising, whatever it is, that one was definitely more story-based, which is less my jam in general. So intrigued, impressed with what they're able to do, happy that this is working for a lot of people, and if you're someone who thinks this is not for you based off of seeing content for the game, it might not be for you, but again, prototype scenario, so it's hard to say with an on-the-rail scenario, because you got to see some of the downsides of the tech, where it's more like, you got to see some of the upsides, where everything's controlled for you, you got to see some of the downsides, where in some contexts, everything's controlled for you, but you didn't get to see the upsides of a real full-on scenario that gives you full agency, because it was very much an on-the-rails demo. And so that's what we have for Teburu, Dungeons, Sword, and Sorcery. And also, again, the system's not cheap, you know, $220 for the Adventure Pledge, but you also still need to have the console. If you don't have the console, you need to make sure you have the console. So if you're on the Teburu system, it's definitely cheaper, because you can get the core conversion pledge over here. Just get that. Are you already own Sword? No, that's if you own Sword and Sorcery. The core pledge for €95. Just get that if you already have the console. So it's not the most expensive if you are, I mean, it's not cheap either, but it's not the most expensive if you already have the Teburu system. But if you're going all in, or if you need the Teburu system, it bumps up that barrier to entry. Land vs. Sea, Uncharted, and Custom Meeples. 690 backers, 8 days to go, $30,000 raised. This is more expansion content for Land vs. Sea. Again, we did sponsor content on this one. You can check out the preview for Uncharted, but Uncharted adds new scoring mechanisms to Land vs. Sea, and they're all fun and simple to integrate. I really enjoyed playing through those there. Again, I like Land vs. Sea to begin with. I like the variable extra scoring things that go on, and I didn't have them, I want the bag of meeples. Like, they're completely unnecessary, but the bag of meeples, I like meeples in general, colored, printed meeples, whatever you call them, pre-printed meeples. There's something, it's a term, printed meeples, whatever it is. But I like the art, I like the ability to put them on the board and much more easily see what's going on as far as those caravan ships, or again, one of the new things is the castles. So that I definitely want. Completely unnecessary, but I want it, and I like Land vs. Sea, although I don't know if I'll be able to fit it all in the core box if I get the meeples too, because we'll see. Anyways, that's Land vs. Sea. Land vs. Sea is a great 2-player tile-line game that also has 3 to 4 player modes that are very compelling. Like, I do think it's primarily a 2-player game, but I think the 3 and 4 players do add very interesting mechanisms to it. I usually play it primarily 2 players, but when I add a 3rd and 4th, it adds some interesting scoring choices as far as how you play through it, and definitely forces me to remember like how to play with different strategies in mind. But that's going to be $19 for the base, $38 if you want the Meeples 2. By the base, I mean the expansion. $38 if you want the Meeples 2. And then, of course, the shipping and tariffs, which seems somewhat reasonable. $7 over here for, you know, across the board for that. Nothing else for the extras. So somewhat reasonable, but tariffs will be added. So make sure you are aware of that. Then we have Doomguard. Doomguard, the Superheroes vs. Cthulhu board game. This is a bunch of superheroes versus Cthulhu. 732 backers, $76,000 raised. This is giving you an RPG and a board game. Both of those if you are interested in a cooperative 1 to 5 players, 60 to 90 minutes game of playing as superheroes versus the great elder ones and trying to take them out. Cooperative, approachable, dark superhero action, fast-paced action board game. Overall, looks pretty fun. The art looks pretty fun. This one falls in the category of I'm interested in this game, but I think I need to play this one to be convinced, because there's so many games like this, and like the art, the style, the theme, all of that. The graphic design maybe a little less so, but art and theme, that one definitely pulls me in. The game itself, pricing's not terrible. It's $140 for the base game and expansions. This is standee only, not miniatures. They don't really have miniatures, I believe, at least that I could see. We have the Doomguard base game for $60. So again, not the most expensive for what the game is, but I think there's so many games like this that while I am interested in a superhero fighting Cthulhu kind of game, I think this falls under the category of try before you buy. For me, you can do what you want, obviously. This is just for me. I want to try it. I like co-op. I like superheroes. I like Cthulhu. The only question is, will I like this game, or will it be another game that I try and then just decide that I like other games I have more? That's my hesitancy on this one. So yeah, that's where we are on Doomguard over here. We have Chaosphere, Etonak, Vanguard from Aura Game Legends. 334 backers, €18,000. I was interested in this one, and shipping kind of pushed me away from it. This is a roguelike, so it's a sci-fi roguelike, solo or co-op. All of that sounds great. I like roguelikes. You know, I like Slay the Spire a ton. I've generally enjoyed any other roguelike board game. I love roguelike video games, so always interested in this kind of genre. And this one does look, it has good art, it has, it seems like an interesting mechanism as far as lining up your ship versus the enemy over here. Overall seems intriguing, different than what's out there, but compelling enough to kind of pull me in. And the price point's not even that bad. Price point for the game, oh, did you just jump on me? Okay, sorry. Price point's not even that bad. Price point is €35 for, ow, that's a claw. I've only... Okay, buddy, hey. Price point's coming at €35 for the core gameplay, €25 for the base game over here, and then, upping it from there. But I don't think I'm interested in any of the other stuff that adds whatever. Maybe the Chaosphere bundle, but I think I'm primarily interested in the core gameplay or the base game. Oh, you found your little... Oh, yeah, okay. That's where we are on this. Give me a second. Okay, he's grooming, good. Yeah, but then the shipping comes in over here, and shipping's going to run you at €15 to €17 for the base game over here for any of these core pledges, which kind of like almost not doubles, but like it adds a big chunk. If you're looking at a €25 game and €15 to €17 shipping, even at the Vanguard gameplay, like it adds 50% to the gameplay cost. So I'm still interested, but this is one of those that I think I'm just going to wait and see as opposed to jumping in on crowdfunding. The starting low price got me, but then the shipping bumped it out, and then the lack of confidence. The interest is there, lack of confidence is certainly there too. Doesn't mean it's bad, just uncertain. Under Our Sun 2nd Edition and Miniature Expansion. This is not a lot to really cover here. This is basically the 2nd edition of Under Our Sun, and it's a miniature expansion for the game. So if you liked Under the Sun, this is an easy thing to decide whether you are interested enough in it, in the upgraded elements, the miniatures. There's also a first content pack, things like that. Alternatively, if you want to dive into Under the Sun for the first time, this way you can already check out generally how it's been received. €106, 944 backers, 10 days left to go. This one is one that I've always been interested-ish in, and not quite interested enough to pull the trigger. Again, there's lots of games out there, and I find games often need a hook. I need something that pulls me, that really moves me over the finish line, or sometimes it's based on something else different. Sometimes it's based on playing it like Tekken. Other times it's based on a previous game I already knew, like Flip Voyage over here. So there's always things that pull me in different ways. Under the Sun has not yet hooked me on this one. We have Ascendancy. This is another one that I know I'm not getting ready because the base game's not for me, but it is the kind of game I'm interested in. 1,300 backers, 14 days to go, $270,000 raised. This is an expansion content to Ascendancy, which is this giant 4X game, very involved, like it's 4X inspired worker placement. Check out the reviews on this one, because the reviews are overall very positive, but also there are some reviews that you should pay attention to as to both whether it's a game for you or a game not for you, because overall, been very well received. Overall, it's a very well liked game, but also there are people who are like, this is too much. Like for me, this is too much. There's too much happening in the game. It's too invested. This is a game you have to kind of really commit to. There's a lot going on, and you have to, like, this is not a game you play once and then make an opinion based off that. This is a game you play 17 times, not, maybe that's too much. You play it like the first game's a learning game, the second game's a learning game, the third game is the first time you're really playing the game, in my opinion. There's a lot going on here. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. You'll enjoy those first plays. I mean, if it's the kind of game you like, but it's definitely a very involved game. It reminded me of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, which is a game I like, but not a game I felt the need to own for exactly that kind of reason. But that's Ascendancy over here. The Underworld expansion adds new factions, it adds new mechanics, so it adds a bunch of new content to the game, and there's a whole chunk of pledge levels going from, 115 for the new content over here, and then all the way up to like an all-in for, $360. So a lot of ways you can go ahead and get invested into this one. Again, check out the overall opinions out there, because there are already, like, this game's already out, it is well rated, but that doesn't mean it's for you, so check it out and find out more. Then from there we have Adventure Quest and Ultimate Game Tables. This is not something I'm getting. I think whenever there's a game table, I always think they're cool. This one is $100,000 raised, but only 24 backers. That's how game tables can work. Things can bloat up very quickly. But this does look good. Like, the game tables look good. I mean, many game tables look good. Some look better than others. This one falls into the better than others category. I love that cross-leg thing. I love that. Like, one of the first things I was looking for when I first got a game table is I didn't want 4 corner legs. Like this guy behind me over here, this is from Uniquely Geek. This one I specifically wanted a trestle leg underneath. That 4X thing would have been cool too. I just didn't want 4 corner legs because this was, at the time, doubling as a dining room table. Now it's not, but I still like having not 4 corner legs on a table this size. So I like that look and appeal, but obviously you have to figure out what works for you. There's a whole lot of options as far as the tables, the different options. They start at, the 1800-ish range, €1,800, but there's a whole lot of things that can get very expensive very quickly. Again, you can see that the average cost per backer is currently around €4,000, €5,000. So just factor that into your decision as to how closely you want to look. And then we have one more campaign over here. We have Flop, the Masterful Art of Underachieving. 454 backers, $15,000 raised, 15 days to go. This looks so much fun. It's literally about underachieving. You win when you can't do anything. Like, if you can't do anything in the game, you win. Past that, you're playing cards. You're basically playing cards where it will play, attack, ongoing cards, but the entire goal of the game is to just be able to not do anything. As soon as you run out of moves, you win, which is usually how you lose in games. So I like that little twist. This is from the Soda Can series from Thundergriff. I always find them very compelling as far as what they're doing with the Soda Can series. I also hate atypical box sizes. Like, where is this going on a shelf? I think it's cute for the charm. I think it's terrible for the storage. And also right now it's €30 for a 2-set. That's free shipping included. So free shipping on that. Make sure you're aware. But double check exactly. Like, I know it says free shipping. I don't know if there's any asterisks to that. But they say even that we do not ship to PO boxes. That's an asterisk. But outside of that, €30. You're getting 2 cans over here. Each can stands on its own, but you also mix and match for more gameplay. So you don't necessarily need both. And if you wait for retail, you might be able to get 1 can, which is kind of where I am on this one. Like, I like it. Do I want to pay €30 for? That's like $35 for me, and like for a game that looks very charming, but I don't know where it lands. So I guess I am in the color me interested because I love the idea, I like the art, I like what the game is trying to do, and I just don't know if it's going to be a game that I play once and move on from because I'm like, hey, that was fun, not for me, or a game I enjoy. And I try to be more conservative about where my dollars go, especially for something like that, where it's like paying $35 for a game that I play once and move on from is not going to be super satisfying. So I'm very interested in this game, and for right now, it's a pass for me. Anyways, that is basically your crowdfunding roundup or whatnot, as far as picks of the week. So, picks of the week, as usual, I'm going to do the value pick, the thing I think is most likely to hold its value, as well as my personal interest pick of the week. Although it is a hard one, because I think they do kind of overlap, which is tricky. Oh, it's tricky. So I'll do the value pick. I'm going to do Tekken for my value pick, okay? Because I think this one is most likely to hold its value. Big box miniatures game from Go On Board. It's not as popular as other games because I do think fighting games like this are a harder sell, but I think it is a good game. I think people will play it and people will like it. Again, I don't know about longevity. It's hard to say, but I think it's a good enough game that when it arrives, people are going to want it because there will be some degree of hype and buzz and things look beautiful on it. So overall, I think this is my value pick of the week. It would have been my personal interest pick of the week as well, but because I try to split those up, I'm going to give that to Flip Voyage over here. Flip Voyage and Fliptown. Well, Flip Voyage specifically, Fliptown New Frontier as well, because I like Fliptown enough that I'm very interested in Flip Voyage, so this can be my personal interest pick of the week. And that's basically everything. Until next, I didn't do upcoming campaigns, but I forgot to, so we're going to move on from it. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. Thanks for bearing with me. Sorry about the cat interruptions. It's going to be, give me some time over the next few weeks to kind of figure out the balance, because I think there's lots of people who love it when a cat jumps onto my shoulder, crawls into the video. There's a lot of people who will like that. There's also a lot of people who are going to be irritated by the interruptions. They're like, wow, like, Alex, you're doing this video, you're losing focus, you're distracted. There will be people who are irritated by the interruptions. Genuinely, this is my request to you. When it happens, and you don't have to do it every time, but just as even as a one-time basis, whatever it is, when that stuff happens, in this video or other videos, if you actively like it, feel free to comment. And if you actively dislike it, feel free to comment as well, politely, please. Not like, stop doing those videos with your cat, I hate it. Like, not that, but like, hey, I do find the cat an interruption. That's great. That's feedback. Keep your cat out of your videos. That's a command from someone getting a free video. And I do get comments like that on things. Like, people sometimes have a degree of entitlement around how YouTube can work. I don't care about those voices. I do care about your opinion if it's not entitlement. So like, I do value your opinion if you find the cat an interruption. Because I have this cool thing, it's a door. The door at the top of the stairs. And I could close it, and I do close it. For gameplays, I close it because I don't think I would be able to focus if the cat interrupted a gameplay. I think it would really mess with things, especially if he jumped onto the table and messed up the components. But I guess my overall point is, I do value your feedback, and I am requesting your feedback if you actively like it or if you actively dislike it. If you kind of don't care either way, feel free to say that, but I guess I won't move the needle, so to speak. But that's something, because I'm going to have to figure out the balance. So bear with me over the next weeks, months, as I figure out the right balance as to, do I close the door for every single video, or do I allow the occasional interruption, because, hey, life's like that sometimes. But with that said, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. Thanks for bearing with me. Sorry the 2 back and not to back has been so long coming. There will be more coming. We'll be back on track-ish. Again, I don't know about this next Monday, but we'll see. And as always, and until next time, I hope you have a good one. So, the other day, my son came home from school, and he said to me that he found out that apparently white people like Sony, Asians prefer Yamaha, and black people prefer Bose. And I told him, I was like, son, those are just stereotypes.